traveling through New Mexico, what better thing than to make New Mexican red chili sauce? So the interesting thing about New Mexico, for me, one of the most interesting things is the food. I love it. I can't get enough of it. It's not like Tex-Mex. It is Mexican, but it's New Mexican. It's got its own flair. And the one thing that you'll notice when you come here is if you eat out in a restaurant, a New Mexican restaurant, they will ask you red or green. And what they're referring to is the chili sauce that they put on their food. Oh, I might as well do them all. This is, let's just say 10 to 12 Guajillo chilies to 2 Anchos. Perfect ratio. Gloves. I'm just going to rip the chilies open and seed them. You don't want those seeds in your sauce. What you want to look for when you're buying chilies, and why I always buy my chilies at the Latin market, is you want chilies that are pliable. Like both of these, they're soft, you can squish them and they will retain their shape. Where if you buy old chilies, if you go like this, it's going to crush into powder and just be dust. And you can tell when you're buying them in the packet, you can feel them and know that they're soft and they're not just going to break apart into a million bits. So lay the chilies in the pan and you just want to press them down until you start to smell them and get them nice and kind of toasted. This will just bring out a smoky chili flavor. If you burn them at this stage, throw them away and start over, because burned chilies get really bitter. Okay. So, line your skillet with tin foil and reduce the heat to about medium-low. So the tin foil is a technique that I learned when I took a Mexican cooking class years and years and years ago. It makes cleanup really easy, but it's going to allow us to char big thick slabs of onion black without overcooking them and without them sticking to the pan. So cut your onion in nice thick slabs. Arrange them in your pan, and you're not going to stir them and you're not going to turn them until the undersides are nice and charred black. Put your garlic cloves in the same pan, in their paper. Don't peel them. You're just going to roast them. So my onions and my garlic are in the pan doing their thing. I've toasted all of my chilies. I put them in a small pot and I'm just going to cover them with boiling water. And use just enough water to get them submerged, but not so much that you're going to dilute the water, because we're going to use this in our chili sauce. And cover them and let them sit for 20 minutes. So after maybe 5 or 7 minutes, your onion slices will start to get nice and brown on the bottom. And also flip your garlics. You'll see little dark spots on one side. It's been about 10 minutes, 5 minutes each side for the garlic, so I'm going to take those off. They're done a little before the onions are. We're going to take these out of their little jackets. So the interesting thing about these little garlics is once you roast them whole in their shell, you'll see that they're soft, they're cooked, and they're kind of translucent. But the little, this little smoky spot, the roasted spot, will give them a totally different taste than if you were to saute them. So this is the first time that we're using the Vitamix in the camper, and we have a generator. And do we know what the watts are? Do we know?
2,000.
2,000 watt generator. Do we know what the pull of the Vitamix is?
1,500.
1,500. And
That should be high, max.
So we'll see how this goes. Okay, so I've got my garlics and I'm tossing them into the blender. I'm going to use equal parts cumin and oregano. And for this amount, I'm going to start with a half a teaspoon. Our onions have a nice char on them. So the chilies have reconstituted for about 15 minutes. I think they look soft enough. These are really fresh chilies, so I'm going to go ahead and throw those in. So I want to add enough chili water to make a nice thin consistency, but not so much to make my chili sauce watery.
Go slow, Francie.
Okay, it's blended for maybe 2 minutes. I want it to be nice and fine. If you want a really refined, super silky smooth chili sauce, just run it through a sieve. The spices are perfect. I'm just going to add a little bit of salt, and I think I'll do a little bit of lemon juice. One of my favorite sauces. It's so good. The only thing it needs is a little bit of black pepper. We always lose the pepper shaker. You know what the pepper is? It's not where it's supposed to be. Okay, so I am making this initial batch, which is a fairly large batch. I probably made 2.5 cups. I'm making it a little bit thicker because if I want to poach an egg in a spicy chili sauce, I'm just going to thin this down. If I want to make an enchilada sauce, I'm going to thin this down. If I want to make huevos rancheros, I'm going to keep it thick. So it's totally versatile, and you can freeze it and it freezes beautifully. So here's what the final chili sauce looks like. It's thick enough that it will sit upright on a spoon. And then when I cook with it, I'm going to thin it to the point where it's really runny and loose, but not watery. So it will still puddle on the plate, but just not stand up and be quite as thick as this is. So there you have it, New Mexico's famous red chili sauce. You can use this as a base for enchiladas. You can have it as a side with rice and beans. You can toss rice and beans in it. You can cook your rice in it if you thin it down. You can poach eggs in it. It's such a wonderful, fantastic sauce. So enjoy it, and make a big batch and put some in the freezer. I put it in maybe 1/4 cup bags, so like 1 serving bags for us, and just freeze them flat and thaw them out as I need them. This is better than any enchilada sauce you can buy in the store, guaranteed. So now I have 3 Ziploc bags with about 1/2 cup of red chili sauce. I'm going to put these in the freezer and pull them out as I need them. And I still have maybe a little over a cup to use. I'm going to thin down a little bit of this in the morning and poach my eggs in it and make wonderful huevos rancheros. Thank you for being here on our New Mexico trip. It's been wonderful, and hopefully I'll get some more videos up and share a little more of this really, really beautiful state with you. So this is where we are. We're perched on the cliff right above the Rio Grande. Really shouldn't be running in flip-flops in the desert. Lovey!
Hey.
It's really beautiful, and there's no wonder that painters for hundreds of years have come here to paint. Oh, this is a rock climbing route. You see these little pins over their top ropes. They climb off that. And there is the Rio Grande. So you can see this little trail on this bench right here. And we were looking for that trail, but we ended up riding on the other side of the river and went up from down here all the way up somewhere popped over the ledge and then rode around on the top. So you can see the white parts of the chalk marks from the rock climbers. Are those the handholds or are those bird poop? Oh. I don't know which. Glenn came over and grabbed onto my coat. But you see this thing I'm standing on, and then